Welcome to the Mind of Business Success podcast. I'm your host, Alicia Kramer. Today we have with us Toye Penny. She's a well-being strategist for celebrities and CEO moms. I'm excited to have this conversation. As a CEO mom, I know, I know that you offer a tremendous amount of value to your clients. So as we're kind of getting things started, I want to welcome you to the show. And I would love for you to share with our listeners what it is that you do. So can you tell us a little bit about your business?
Sure. Thank you so much, first of all, for having me here. I am super excited to be here and to share and to spread the word and the message. So it is a pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me. And I am a well-being strategist for celebrity and high-performing CEO moms, where I help them put their oxygen mask on first so they can save everyone else around them. And how I do that is I created a method called the Love You More method. And this is an upscale well-being program. And this method is to help you reduce mental load, drop the functioning addiction cycle, prevent the risk of a health breakdown, and model well-being for generations to come. So I just basically work one-on-one with my clients and guide them, support them, and love them and hold them accountable to the Love You More method. It has 8 elements. We meet every other week. And we are getting to the root of all of your issues. So yes, that is the Love You More method.
Let's talk about the real world problems that high performance women are experiencing. So when we're looking at a successful woman, I know you work with celebrities. I know you work with a lot of, high level CEOs. From the outside looking in, a lot of times we're like, wow, what a powerhouse, what an incredible woman, out there. She looks great. She's, kicking ass and taking names. She's doing big things. You see pictures on social media with her and her kids, and it looks almost like a fantasy, like a fairy tale life. It's like the aspiration that so many women have to be successful and powerful and have the family. But what's really going on in a lot of cases with these women? Exactly. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, so it's funny. So like this morning, I was looking at a picture of, I had just happened to log on to check a message in my Instagram. And the first picture that popped up was Sierra. And so she's at this event and she has on this brown, beautiful dress, and the slit is way up to the thigh, and her thighs are looking good. They're all in shape. And so many people's like, oh, it just frustrates me that you're so beautiful. Why can't I be like that? And all of those things. And so with the celebrities and the high performers, we often put up a facade of, I have it all together in my career, and simultaneously things on the back end are falling apart. When we are posting those pictures and all of that stuff, that is just the outer image of what's going on. But nobody really knows what's going on within her life, and so many people may wish that they had their life and just all of that stuff, but I honestly don't know what goes on the back end. In order to get to where she is, you don't know what has to be done or what was done in order to get there. And so we have this, and especially high performing moms, we're trying to do so much. We're trying to keep up the body. We're trying to keep up the look and just all of those things. We're trying to manage the kids. We're trying to manage the team and the career, and so much that we start to lose ourselves in this career, and it becomes our identity. And one of the reasons why I go seek after high performers is because, we have this passion so much, this passion to serve and to, whether you're a singer or an actor or entrepreneur, whatever you are, we have this passion to help so much. And our purpose becomes our identity. And so a lot of times, like I said, we lose ourselves and our complete well-being on the back end as we're serving in our purpose.
So when you are working with your clients, what are some of the symptoms that these women have from the burnout, and in many cases not putting themselves first?
Right. So we have mental load is huge. Mental load, addictions are huge. Whether it's alcohol, whether it's drugs, whether it's food, whether it's sex, addictions are really huge. We have trauma, childhood trauma, either childhood trauma or current trauma that has happened or that is happening. And so we dive into our addictions or our mental load or our work. And so we can't really focus on everything and everyone else. It's mainly we become our identity, like I said before, become our work. And so sorry to say it, the other things just fall short.
I'd like to talk a little bit about mental load, because there are some people who may not understand what that means. But I think it's a really, really valuable topic. And it's something that when people become aware of this phenomenon in their own life, it can help to really put things into perspective and say, oh yeah, I am experiencing that. I am going through that. And sometimes shedding that light on something like that can help people to start to take a few steps back and say, wait a second, something's got to give here. So right. Can you share with the audience what that means?
Sure. So mental load is, and a lot of moms, I don't care if you're a high performer or not, a lot of moms suffer with mental load. And it's all of the stuff that's lagging in your brain that you need to do, or that needs to get done, that hasn't gotten done, or that needs to get checked on. Things like doctor's appointments, things like, getting Fifi, the fur baby, her vet appointment, things like the grocery shopping, the washing, all of the things, all of the tasks, not only for the home, but now, for the business and work, and just all of the tasks that are in your head that are stuck there. And it is so overwhelming. It is so overwhelming. And, we are expected, as women, if we're successful women, and even, like I said, not even successful women, we're just expected to carry all of this, because the husband, he just doesn't. It's not who he is. So we are expected to carry this mental load. And y'all, it becomes so overwhelming and so stressful that I mean, you can literally lose your mind just over mental load alone. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, when somebody comes into your world, they're at a place where they acknowledge, okay, I need to do something different. Something's got to give, something's got to change. Can you kind of walk us through what does that look like? So I know you mentioned some of the different steps that you take people through, but when you are working with your clients, what are some of the different things that you're helping them to sort out within themselves so that they can create more of that balance? They can, as you said, metaphorically, put their own oxygen mask on first so that they have the mental, the emotional, the physical stamina to be that best version of themselves for their business, for their career, for their family.
Right. Yes, that's a great question. So I separated your well-being into two parts. Um, and I believe that you need your primary well-being and your primary elements of your well-being, and then your secondary elements of your well-being. So your primary elements of your well-being are things like your mental and emotional peace, relationships that nurture your soul, a meaningful spiritual practice, quality sleep, empowering physical activities, a thriving career, and never ending self investments. So, your primary elements of your well being, they nourish you, but they don't come on your plate. And your secondary element of your well being is the food that you actually eat and put in your mouth. So if you are overindulging on your primary elements of your well being, then you tend to underindulge on your secondary element of your well being and vice versa. So those are the elements that I guide my clients through. So it's a holistic approach. And these are the exact 8 elements that you need, and it needs to be in combination with each other. It is ever evolving because you are ever evolving.
I love that you talk about it as a holistic approach, because as business people, especially, we tend to, like you mentioned, we overindulge in certain areas of our life, whether it is spending an excessive amount of time working on our business, or even being very, very highly business focused. And then, we maybe have a little bit of time that we put towards exercise and family stuff, and then we're neglecting the other pieces. Maybe we're not taking time for spiritual practices, for meditation, for I don't even know how long it's been since I've had a massage, just
Right.
basic things like that. And until you create some type of strategy that is realistic to implement in your life, you're going to continue to have these imbalances, and then it throws you off.
Exactly.
So what you're saying here is, we don't want to neglect any of the essentials. There is a way to make all of these different pieces fit in a very holistic way so that you are filled up from the inside out.
Exactly. And when we're falling short in those areas, we're doing great in the business part, but like I said, we're falling short in the rest of the areas. We have people that are depending on us, which are our children, and it could be your spouse, also your team member, your colleagues, all of those things, all of those people, even Fifi the fur baby. So they're depending on you, and so when you're falling short, they're going to fall short. So the whole purpose of the Love You More method, yes, it is because we are actually placed here to be of service to others. And so the whole purpose of the Love You More method, it is for you, but it's so that you can continue to be of service to others. And if you're not here, then you can't be of service to others. There have been so many people who have passed away due to maybe their voids, their trauma, all of those things, when they were so good at what they are doing. And like what so good at, so great, let me put it that way, so great at what they were put here on this earth to do, and they can no longer do that because they're not no longer on the earth due to something simple as their trauma and their voids.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
It's true. And it is sad how we sometimes get so caught up in the doing of life that we forget what's most important. And if we can take a few steps back, and I oftentimes will say to my clients, you cannot give what you do not have. And that really is a foundational principle that kind of reverberates through every area of life. If you
Right.
don't have emotional well-being, you cannot give love, you cannot give kindness, you cannot give attention, you cannot give of yourself in that way. If you don't
Correct.
have money, right, you can't give what you don't have. You
Exactly.
don't have it, if you don't have it inside of you, if you don't take the time to take care of that part of yourself, you're not doing anyone any favors. You're not being of service to anyone by being in your own misalignment.
Exactly. Exactly. And that is so important. Like, I mean, I can't stress it enough. And like I said, especially when you have people depending on you and, you are falling short, don't think that they don't know, because
It
they
is,
know.
it's so funny to me. And this is a conversation that I've had so many times, I probably can't even count it with my clients. In many cases, very, very successful business owners, CEOs within their own company, their own organization, and even with the dynamic between them and employees. It's like, if you're feeling a tremendous amount of resentment towards that employee, just because you're not saying it doesn't mean that they're not feeling it. It's the same
Exactly.
with our relationships within our families. If you're having a conflict in your marriage and you think that you are being so smooth and under the radar about
Hmm.
your resentment, your anger, your displeasure, your dissatisfaction, we feel that from each other energetically. It
Yep.
it conveys at the subconscious level. And a lot of times I have to remind, like, my clients that, how would you feel if you found out that that person felt that way about you this whole time?
Yeah.
You're not doing them a service by holding that resentment, by holding that negative energy. And what you're talking about here is the same, maybe not in that necessary extreme example, but if mom is walking around and she is frustrated and she is tired and she is overwhelmed and her emotional, physical needs are not being met, and she's wearing the happy face, like that commercial on TV for the
Hmm.
antidepressant commercial where they're holding the little happy face,
Yeah.
right? But we're picking up on that.
Exactly. Exactly. And if she's walking around, not only are we picking up, the kids are picking up, the husband's picking up, the team member, everybody knows. I don't, even the coffee lady at Starbucks, she's gonna pay attention as well. So I'm saying, if we're walking around like that, not only is that the energy that we're putting out, but we're also, that's the energy that's on the inside of us. So now the energy is I like to say it's festering on the inside of us, and now it's turning into something else.
Yeah.
you know now it's
Physical
turning
issues.
into, exactly, now it's turning to physical issues. So I've noticed, and I'm telling you, I've talked to so many high performers, celebrities, they have a lot of health issues, whether it's, diabetes, or, sleep apnea, or, an autoimmune disease. There are so many different things that they're going through. And it's because of, a lot of, especially a lot of high performing women, they, like I said, carry this facade, but they're the strong ones in their families. And so everyone comes to them for, for assistance and for help, for, so not only in their families, but now their team members is coming, and she has to, think for everybody. And so nobody really is thinking for her. She has to make decisions for everybody. And so this stuff is festering, and we're holding it inside, and it's turning into other things, and it hurts my soul every time I hear of, someone, they died of cancer, they died, and they have children behind, you know. I mean, it just irks my soul. It just irks me because, I mean, I know, cancer is, everybody says, I hear this a lot, man, you can get cancer doing anything. But if there are some things that can prevent it, whether it's through your well-being, whether it's through, your mental, whatever it is, if we can prevent it, then that's what we need to do.
Right.
But there are so many things that can be prevented.
And that's a big, big topic. It's a huge topic.
Huge.
We could talk about, the science behind it, epigenetics. We can talk about the fact that even modern medical practitioners will openly acknowledge that most diseases are caused by stress and by mental and emotional issues.
Yep.
So let's pivot a little bit, because now I want to talk about you as a woman entrepreneur. And one of the things that I love to ask my guests on this show is about your own personal mindset journey as a business owner. You didn't just land here and have a thriving business. And certainly you didn't learn these things by accident. Well, maybe kind of in a roundabout way, but I have a feeling there was a little bit of maybe divine intervention, and you felt called to do this work. But oftentimes we get really good at our thing because we've been there, we've been through it, and we learned from experience. Is there anything that you can share with us about your own personal journey as a business owner, and some of maybe one of your own mindset obstacles that you had to overcome in order to get to where you are today?
Right. So one of the mindset obstacles that I had to overcome was really seeing myself as worthy of serving these high performers and these celebrities. um my background, I hadn't shared my story or whatever, but I had a lot of childhood trauma, and my mother passed away of lupus when I was 9. My dad wasn't present. I was sexually abused at 13, became a teenage mom at 16. But I found myself at the right place at the right time when I became an owner of a high-end luxury day spa at the age of 23. And so me managing, 15 employees and being a single mom at the time at 23 years old with no background or whatever, it was rewarding, but it was, I had to come into this, this energy of, oh my gosh, like I have all of this, it was great. It was great. But as I transitioned and moved on to this well-being strategist for celebrities and all of these things, I didn't see myself that way. And so I had to do a lot of work on myself. Of course, I had to heal my childhood trauma, and still healing from the childhood trauma. So I'm on my own love you more journey. And so I had to see myself as this high performer who is able and capable of serving celebrities, and high performers. So once I saw myself as that, then I was able to be it. Mm-hmm.
It is so interesting how we are called to do something. We can feel it. We can feel ourselves being pulled in that direction. And that's like our spiritual guidance, right? That's the part of us that is saying, you're here for more. There is something that you're made to do. This is the way that you're wired. This is your gift, your talent, your passion, your ability.
Right.
But because of our old mental conditioning, we slow ourselves down, we get in our way, we're stumbling over all of the reasons why we can't and we shouldn't, and it's not right. And who are we to be that person?
Right.
And we have to really sort through all of those things. And that's why I always say it's really about reconditioning ourselves.
Right.
Because all of those seemingly justifiable reasons why you shouldn't, you're not qualified, who are you to do X, Y, and Z? That's just the mental stuff. That's just other people's opinions, other people's fears, doubts, and insecurities that have been projected onto you, and has nothing to do with what you're really, truly capable of doing.
Right.
But you have to dismantle all of those things and start to create a new mental association with being the person who is out there making that positive difference, doing your thing and doing it with confidence and with certainty and with assertiveness and with every part of your being on board.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about how our listeners can connect with you. So if we have a woman who is listening right now, and she is in this exact situation. She's tired. She's burning out. She knows that something has to change. How can she reach out to you?
Sure. So she can reach out to me at my website, toyepenny.com. I'm on Instagram, official_Toye Penny. Everywhere else, Toye Penny, Facebook, Twitter, Facebook and Twitter at Toye Penny. So I'm also hosting these lovely Love You More Method mini dinner retreats. And they were online for a bit. Now we've moved in person. So I'm actually going on tour and starting here with my hometown in Dallas. And each month and throughout the new year, I'm going to be traveling and hosting these mini dinners. And so it is by application only. It's very intimate, 7 to 8 people. And we're actually going to go through the Love You More method. We're going to have a private dinner or brunch. You're going to get a copy of my book. I also have a book. I forgot to say that. You're going to get a copy of my book. And we're actually just going to dive through the Love You More method and just create some transformation during those couple of hours. So yes, toyepenny.com if you want to join the dinners or the brunch in your area and location.
Awesome. This has been a wonderful conversation.
Yeah.
And it was a little deep, right? So
Very
we're talking about some of the things that are the not so bright side of being very successful.
Yes.
But it doesn't have to be that way.
Right.
And that's the part that we really need to kind of shine a little bit of light on, because when you're building your business, when you're creating a lot of success, it's a different mindset. It is very, very focused, very driven, very high energy, sometimes even a little high stress. And you're pushing through a lot of that old mental conditioning that we were talking about, and that creates resistance, and it does create some additional stress. And many of us did not grow up in an environment that was particularly enriching. I know I didn't.
Me neither, girl.
And those things carry with us until we heal them, until we resolve them.
Exactly.
So beautiful conversation, beautiful opportunity to shed some light on these things. I want to thank you so much, Toye, for being with us today.
Sure.
And as we're rounding out this episode, I'd love to give you an opportunity to share any final parting thoughts.
Sure. So I always say we are bad stewards over our lives. Now, this is going to be a hard truth, but we are bad stewards over our lives if we continue to do the things to potentially take us away from serving the world, our loved ones. Well, serving them, I would say. And when I say them, I mean your children, society, your family, and everybody else. So we don't want to be bad stewards. We want to be good stewards over our lives and continue to pour into ourselves so that we can continue to serve and pour into others.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Perfect way to end this episode. Thank you again, Toye.
Thank you, Alicia.
And thank you to all of our listeners. If you haven't already subscribed, please make sure you do so. You do not want to miss any of this. We have so many incredible experts and really great conversations. So until next time, we'll see you in the next episode.